Joa. Today we're going to talk about pronunciation in English. In the past, we had informative classes about parts of speech and alphabet letters in the English language, but today we're going to talk about pronunciation in English. It's not going to be sufficient to have just a half an hour class or 2 hour class and know everything about pronunciation. Pronunciation is an ongoing process that we must focus on and, commit ourselves, and we should give time to learn these things. Otherwise, we can't do it. So basically, the pronunciation part of this session says about sounds and letters that the general scope is that alphabet letters are 26 in English, and they can produce more than 50 sounds. So the vowel part, which the list is the list includes 5 letters. Those 5 letters can produce more than 22 sounds, and the remaining consonants can produce 25 sounds. So here we have 3 examples. Here we'll see the difference. The difference in between the usage of these words and the way they sounds. Like we will find a difference, and we will find a different pronunciation style and the difference in the process. So we have the first example, which is about short sounds. Now we can pronounce words differently, in different intonations and different sound and different length of sound. So here we have a rat lip. This is a short. So the next one is seen in kilo. We see E and I, A and I. These are all vowels, but you see they function differently here. So this is a stretched example. Seen, kilo. Here's a short one, rat lip, and the third one is compound. It's like hair and hour. So the sounds in A part could be found differently here too. So like A functions differently. Our A can have different sounds here. So for example, art, father, here it sounds like A. We have used A, but it sounds like A. However, here we use it, we have it in a sounded differently, but even though we have used it the same. It's like mat and can. It's like a combination of E and E. And the third one is any and about. Here it sounds like E. The fourth one is A. I have written it's like a half of A and a half. So it's like one wash. And the last one, it sounds like EI. And the reality we see A and A. So the same applies to here to our E part. It's like B, she. It sounds like I. Sometimes you may come across words that have different sounds. Like you think the sound is produced or reflected by letter I or double E, but double E's, but where you find only one E. Like example here says she and he, and the second one sounds basic E, so red bed, and the last one sounds like IE combination. So here we have rules that we have to know, that if our letter E comes after C, D, S, T in a word, then it sounds differently. So it gives a different sound and total new meaning to the sound. So here we have example grandeur. Grandeur means greatness, high ranking, and social importance. If you look at the word is it has like 8 letters, and if we see E is situated after T. Okay, and here we have E situated after D. That's why it sounds righteous. This sounds righteous. Okay, morally right, and this sounds grandeur. Okay, and also if our C, also if the letter C or G comes before the letter E. So if we have a word that has E in it, but before E we have C or G, it sounds she, SH, or G or S. Like for example here we have ceiling. If you see, we have letter C that came before E, or we can say E came after C. And here if you see E came after G, and here we see E came after C. So it sounds like sh, ocean, gem. It sounds ceiling like S. So now we're going to talk about syllable. Syllable mean units of pronunciations. You see, there are words, especially names, that we words in general that we pronounce them. When we pronounce them, they have different units while we pronounce them, meaning that the ups and downs, and the speed, the stretch, it all talks about units of pronunciation. So here we say, okay, this is a two syllable. If somebody says, what's the two syllable word, you just say water. So you see, wa, your sound goes up, and then ter, it drops all of a sudden. So this is two units of pronunciation. Country, it's two. Germany, so it's like 3 units. Morocco. Okay, so now let's talk about affixes. Affixes, what is affixes? Affixes mean that when we have letters that function as a unit and we use them at the beginning or end of a word and it changes the meaning, that's called affixes. Okay, it changes the meaning, it changes the use and everything else. So here we have prefix and suffix. If somebody says what's prefixes or suffixes or prefix suffix, you just say they're both called affix. The class is called, the department is called affixes, but then you have two classes, prefix, suffixes. So pre mean itself pre. Fixes mean it means something which is attached or annexed or affixes, so that's called pre-affix. Prefix. Prefix mean it's affixed before this word. So for example, we have happy, unhappy. Un is prefix. It changed the meaning from happy to unhappy. Employment. And if you want to make it negative, it's unemployment. You put EUN at the front. When you put at the front, it's called prefix. Responsible, irresponsible. So it changes the meaning and the use. And suffixes, anything we put at the end of the word. So let's say if you want to change a word from noun, a word from verb to noun, we have to put, let's say, E. Ahmad works every day. He is a good worker. So if we put ER at the end, that becomes a noun. So beautiful, it's taken from beauty. But there's rule and regulation that we will study later on. That's higher level because we can't cover everything here and you will be confused. Moderation, taken from moderate, and sadness. And yeah, so let's talk about the last part. So it's vowel letters, A, E, I, O, U, suffixes. Suffixes that we put at the very end. For example, exaggerate, exaggeration, worker, beauty, beautiful, broker, brokerage, etc. So first form comparative, then support. Okay. Yeah. So here we have this part that says if one syllable word ends a consonant letter followed by a vowel letter before adding any suffix, ing or whatever, the last consonant must be doubled. So this is the rule. I hope you guys can grasp it. It's a little, I think, confusing, but let's go on. So let's say the rule says that if our word is one syllable, meaning that we pronounce it in one unit of pronunciation. For example, where's the example? For example, we have a word big. This building is big. Big mean huge. So this is one syllable. It's ended in G, but before G we have before G we have a vowel. Okay, vowel is one of these. Okay, one of these. So if we have one of these, then that's vowel. So let's say if you want to compare it, let's say if you want to compare one building with another building, or one person with another, then we have to use comparative form of the verb, of the adjective. When we do that, because we're comparing two things, people or places together, there's a change going to happen in the formation of the word. For example, big. This building is big. But if we want to compare this building with the other building or with that building, we will say this building is bigger than that. So then we should use the second form of big, which is bigger, by doubling the last G, which is followed by a vowel, and put ER. And then we have biggest. Biggest is the superlative form, like when you're comparing one thing with more than two things, or one person with more than. That's called superlative form. I think we will talk about the different forms of adjectives in the future. Getting, big, bigger. So big is like asking for money, asking for charity and alms, and the person who does it is called bigger. So let's say, let you say Richard begs all the time, okay, and then you say that he is a bigger. So this, you see the structure of the word. When the structure of the word is changed, then the use of that word is totally changed in the sentence. Rob is a person who robs someone or steals, or he's a thief, well, in a way. And then sorry, rob is an action of stealing and stuff like that, but a person who does it is called robber. So when you want to change this verb to a noun, you see the change that happens in the word. It's the last consonant is doubled, and then er is added. For example, sat, sadden, stop, stopped, diggable. Well, guys, I hope you learned something today. um, I'm not going to edit this video. I'll just add it. It takes time. So the main thing is that you get your message, you get your knowledge, you get your foundation. If you have any question, please let me know. If you like it, just press the like button. Please subscribe to my channel. My aim is to reach to as many people as I can and share the knowledge. I used to be a teacher. 20 plus years ago, I was a teacher. So I love teaching. I thought at least for 8 years before, changing career and everything else. Right now, I'm also involved in higher education. I've done some diploma and social studies and that 3 year, and then like education is something that's ongoing. You cannot say, okay, I learned it, it's enough. It's a drop in an ocean when you learn. It doesn't matter how many years you have been there. So please share it. Any question, ask me. Any part of question, like if you have any question about grammar, you just ask me, and I'll definitely answer it to you guys. Share it with your friends and families. Um, See what part of this video you liked, the way I teach, the words that I use. Am I fast? Am I slow? Is it too complicated? Well, that's it. I'll just say goodbye and take care, and know one thing: if you are committed to learning something, you will definitely achieve that. Take care. Bye.